Lava can help kernel developers automate and test their output?
Absolutely. So typically, Lava hasn't been really kernel developer friendly in a sense that it really needed to rely on hardware packs, which weren't easily packageable by them on their desks. So what we're doing is we're taking Lava and we're modifying it so that it'll take raw kernel binaries, a U image, Z image, a RAM disk, a device tree blob, right in the JSON file, so that somebody at their desk that builds a kernel can just submit that job to Lava. Lava will pull in those binaries from their local machine, from a build server on the internet, and get it onto the board. Now that was an interesting little feature we added because typically Lava uses a master image, which has to be already on the board, and it has to be assumed to be working. But with kernel development, you get into these areas where the kernel might not be stable. You can't really rely on a master image to be there. So what we've ended up doing, Kevin Hillman's been working closely with me on developing this feature, actually controlling the bootloader. So what Lava does now is it says, well, I'm going to be the TFTP server to serve the board these kernel binaries. So what we're going to do is we're going to set these environment variables in uboot or grub or whatever bootloader you have. So it's fairly extensible. Here's my IP address, me as Lava, and then here's the U image that you want from me on my TFTP server, and here's the RAM disk and the device tree blob. And what that'll do is then allow the developer to just specify whatever boot arguments he wants, and then Lava will send down those binaries to the board over TFTP, and it'll boot. And it's really lightweight. So we kind of gotten away from this whole idea of having to prepare an image, to boot to this master image, to download it, to flash it, and to reboot. And typically, depending on the platform, you're seeing anywhere from 5 minutes to get into a test image to 15 to 25 minutes. But with this lightweight kernel interface that we've kind of developed, it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes to actually boot the kernel binaries on a target platform in the test image. And so that's going to really bring a lot of value to Linaro, because I think we're going to get more kernel developer involvement with Lava. And I think that's one of the things that we really wanted to focus on during the Testing and Validation Summit, is how do we involve these maintainers, not just within Linaro, but community maintainers that might have a tree that they want to test with Lava, and make that easy for them to do.
So how is Lava improving the developer workflow?
Well, that's an interesting question. So I think the biggest thing that we've been focusing on is our results visualization and our reporting. Lava does a lot of things really good. Lava does the booting of boards, talking to the boards over serial, getting the binaries on there into a test image, running the tests. What it lacks right now is a way to get these tests into a way that you can visualize them, so that as a developer, as a program manager, you can look at Lava dashboard and say, we're getting better, we're getting worse. So basically a way of taking all these great tests that we're running in Lava and quantifying them in some way that makes sense, that's coherent, so that somebody, a developer, can look at his results from Lava and say, oh, I've introduced a regression, or we're getting better, because you can see the benchmarks are getting stronger, whether that's a network throughput benchmark, we're getting more frames per second in our graphic benchmark. So being able to not only display those results in Lava, but then to generate the reports hey, from last year to today, we've improved this much. And so we're able to kind of quantify the test results a little bit better that we're getting in Lava now. And I think that's going to be really crucial in the developers' workflows, getting that feedback in a manner that's not so confusing.
So you guys on the Lava team know what you expect out of Lava, but we're pushing it outward. So how is Lava evolving to be easier for those outside of Linaro to use?
I'm glad you asked me that. So what we're hoping to do is start community.validation.linaro.org. And what this is going to be, I'm going to do a presentation on Thursday about Lava Advanced Lab Configuration, and show how you can distribute Lava in multiple physical locations. So, for instance, our new engineering manager, Alan, lives in Colorado. I live in Washington State. I share my board farm with Alan using Lava, and he shares his boards at his house with me and my board farm. So what happens is we have a single unified Lava interface with all these boards, but really these boards live in different physical locations. So the idea is enable this community.validation.linaro.org to have people from the community say, hey, I've got these cool boards, I can hook them up to Lava, and then other people from around the world, not necessarily related to Linaro, can schedule jobs, can run tests on these boards, and it's all community dedicated hardware. So I actually have 33 devices in my lab. I'll be dedicating all of those devices to community.validation.linaro.org. Obviously, we'll be posting documentation on how to add a Lava remote worker to this instance of Lava, so that the community can join in and say, hey, I've got this neat piece of hardware. And the idea then is that we pool up all this community-based hardware so that the kernel maintainers, if they want to test a kernel on their tree, from their tree on a target platform they might not have, they could look there first to see if it exists, and then they could use Lava to actually run those tests. So that's kind of how we're hoping to bring the community together, is by offering this ad hoc distributed hardware. And I think that's kind of the really cool thing about Lava, is that no one really knew it could be distributed like this, and that we could have this idea of sharing hardware in a distributed manner, since pretty much all the Linux kernel developers are distributed in some way, and so is Linaro. So I think that'll be really great.
It's exciting times. I know the mini summit went well, the workshops are going well, and we look forward to seeing some of the demos at the end of the week. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.